Today is day 300 of Russia's war in Ukraine, and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that nearly 100,000 Russian troops have been killed since the February 24th invasion. I'm Dr. K, a political communications specialist, and we're talking about both big numbers that bring big emotions and how to frame the narrative in this situation. After 300 days, Ukrainian forces are physically and emotionally exhausted. The conditions in places like Bakhmut are truly from another century. It's pure willpower that's keeping Ukrainian soldiers fighting. And this raw emotion doesn't always translate well when discretion is needed. The David versus Goliath narrative has made it really easy for people to support Ukraine. The story of the weaker, but perhaps more skilled and better equipped David is exciting. But what really draws people to the story is that David is good. Ukraine has been consistently framed as the good guy in this conflict. In most Western cultures, and I speak of the West because that's where most support for the war in Ukraine is coming from, people's notions of war are oversimplified. They haven't experienced a conflict and they assume that they would react in a certain way. And this brings us to the nearly 100,000 Russian soldiers which have reportedly died in Ukraine. Even though nowhere near what Russia has done, there is evidence that Ukrainian forces have also committed war crimes. What matters now is how Ukraine deals with them. None of these allegations are drawing a moral or legal equivalency between the acts of Ukrainian and Russian forces. And for those of you late to the game, Russia has systematically done terrible things in Ukraine. But as outsiders grow tired of the war, outsiders whose opinion influences their politicians who make decisions about aid to Ukraine, it's important that Ukraine stays the good guy by following all the international norms, by looking into all the accusations of war crimes, and by allowing outsiders to be part of the investigations. Transparency, discipline, and credibly holding people accountable will ease Ukraine into its rightful place in the West after the war.